Okay, so the next topic, I don't really have a ton of experience with. I've avoided it. But a friend of mine online suggested that I do something like it. Actually, their suggestion was more vagina, boobs, sex, but here we go. Breeding. Stop. We don't need any more little parasites on this planet than we already have. I am convinced that we have thrown off the natural order of this planet. There's too many of us, and we're too tightly packed. Now, don't get me wrong, I kind of like humans. Who else is going to lie to me, torture my prisoners? And hell, I might even want some little rugrats of my own someday. But I am willing to sacrifice my genetic material and imperative for the good of this species. Now you may ask, why? What about the darling little babies? What could they possibly do? Well, they all require resources. They require food, which requires oil to transport and to farm it. They require clean drinking water, which there's only X amount on the planet at any given time. And they also require, various metals and minerals, which are all being mined at a huge rate that the planet cannot keep up with. I'm not going to address global warming directly, as many people find it hard to believe that multiplying the amount of greenhouse gases many times in the Earth's atmosphere will affect the Earth's temperature and speed along a natural trend of warming. I am, however, going to address plague. Now, most of us know what swine flu is, and most of us know how diseases are transferred. For those of us that don't know, it's usually by proximity. You have to be within a certain distance of someone. You can't catch a cold virus from Phil if he's 200 miles away without an intermediary bringing you the virus. So we know this, and we know that nobody wants to catch a disease, unless they're really weird. Now, I have a question for you. A query, if it were. What happens to a rabbit population when it gets too big and too densely packed? Well, one, a lot of times they eat off all the vegetation and all their food sources, and so they simply starve. And other times, well, they catch plague. And the plague bounces from rabbit to rabbit to rabbit until only the immune rabbits, or rabbits that were far enough away from the epicenter who didn't catch the disease, are left alive. And thus balance is restored, the population back down to what it's supposed to be, or, enough. Nature is very much about enough. Now, some of you may be asking, what's this got to do with me? I'm a good, God-fearing Christian man, not a little Bugs Bunny. Well, the simple fact of the matter is, if swine flu had actually been a new super virus that turned your vital organs into liquid shit, we may in fact be having a reverse population crisis. There wouldn't be enough people on the planet to run our global economy, and people would be starving to death because of it. And I really probably wouldn't care very much whether you bred. So what I'm proposing, and what I would force the world's population to do if I became world dictator, is no babies for 25 years. That doesn't mean you can't fuck. Fucking is fun. Fucking is good. I would not take it away from anyone. But every woman of childbearing age would get one of those nifty little plastic inserts that prevent babies for 5 years. God, I love technology. Anyway, and then every male, we would find a way to safely and reversibly sterilize the males. Yes, I know we can sterilize males now, but the process is a little tricky on reverse. You don't get your sperm count back to where it was. Also, we wouldn't force people to linger in pain for so long. I look at it this way. If I'm 80 years old, and I'm living in constant pain and basically rolling around in my shit until one of my kids or nurses or whatever decide to change me, I'd be ready for the big sleep. Also, after these 25 years of no babies, any prospective parents would have to take rigorous parenting classes and get a license. After all, I mean, you have to have a license to carry a concealed weapon. you have to have a license to drive, and theoretically, if you raise the next genocidal dictator, then you've done way more damage than hitting somebody while drunk. Speaking of which, if you're caught fucking drunk, and that results in a child, your license is revoked. Also, to get this license, no drug addicts allowed. I don't want any more crack babies in my planet. Well, I hope you've had fun, and let the hate mail come.